Thank you for your help. That one's a little hard, huh?
Yeah.
Can you help me?
1, 2.
Oh! Ah, there we go. Can you put that in for me? Thank you.
Got babies in it.
There we go. There's a couple. Do you want to put those in?
Mom, can I grab those?
Sure.
Oh, 1,
2, 3. Good job. Some of them are smaller, but we're still going to pull them all. We want to clear this whole area, so we're going to just pull them. Are they yummy? Those onion greens? Yeah? I found if I pull it by the top, I tend to break them off. So I have to actually grab down below and grab them by the bulb.
This one's kind of hard.
Well, go down below it and then try to pull.
But this one's very heavy.
Is it heavy? I can come help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the yucky one. Not white. What's that? Chickeny.
What are you doing with the onion?
I'll put it in for chicken.
Oh, do they like it?
Huh?
Oh.
Yes, spicy. Yeah. Mom, she love it. And chicken love it. Now that we got that was sauce. That guy love it. Yeah. I want
That is a massive onion harvest. And this isn't all that we've harvested this year. If you saw in our video, Frost Already, we harvested about this same amount once before. This is just so many onions. It's such a blessing. You know what's just so exciting about this is we spent about $8 on seed. Is all. We planted these from seed in the early spring, late winter, around February, March, and that's how much onions we've got. It's just amazing. All right, now I'm gonna get these down in our basement to start curing. If you guys don't have a really good spot, like down in your basement, you can do it, like we've had friends do it on a picnic table outside, just not in the direct sun, where they cover it over with like paper bags, stuff like that. You just need to let them dry out in a cool, not direct sun place. So we're gonna lay them out here in our basement on some cardboard. This was the bunch that we got last time when it was close to frost, and they have been laying out here curing, letting their tops totally dry out. So these are actually ready to be like cleaned up a little bit. We'll take the tops off. Also, we're gonna show you guys how we like to preserve these. But there's a couple ways that you can extend the life of these onions. This whole section, we have already dried out. So I'm gonna clear this over so then we can put today's harvest out. And you don't want them to be touching, you need them to dry.
These potatoes are yummy.
Oh yes, they are. You need them to dry out. So we're going to scoot this. We're going to bring the other ones in from the harvest and lay them out to cure. We do it for several weeks. You can just tell when the tops are dried out.
Yeah, sure.
You get that?
I'm
Okay, it's not gonna be perfect. You're just kind of gonna push them around, okay? Okay, go ahead.
Nicely done. That's beautiful.
Just like that. Good job, buddy. Oh yeah.
You don't want the actual head of the onion to be touching the others because they could mold from the moisture on them. Things are huge.
Hi, puppy. Here's the last two.
Okay.
You want to get that one? And then the one big one for you.
Wherever you want to.
That's a lot of onions.
Are they good green onions? One way we like to keep them fresh through the winter time is just putting them in a box, cardboard box, and not letting them touch. Because you know, you've heard the saying, one apple can spoil the bunch. So in case one of these goes bad, then it won't be touching any of the other ones and it won't spoil others. So I just try to trim off the top, the bottom, and put it in here in a single layer. Now, as long as we keep these, like I'll close this box in a cool, dark place, nice and dry. We'll keep it down here in our basement, and these will last us until springtime. But if you guys live in like a high humidity climate or someplace where it's really warm through the winter, like we get pretty cold here. We'll get below freezing, well below freezing, sometimes even below 0. One great way to store these onions to last all winter long, if you can't store them in a cool, dry place, is either 1, dehydrating them, or 2, freezing them. I'm gonna show you how to do both methods. But maybe you don't have the freezer space to freeze a whole bunch of onions. Well, an awesome way to preserve them is just dehydrating them. I buy a lot of minced onion just in the store. It's quite expensive, and we can recreate that right here at home. It's another great thing to make on your homestead and not have to purchase from your store. So I'm gonna turn a bunch of these into just diced, dried onions. And then I'm also gonna make some into onion powder. Now I'll leave a link to the garlic video that Jessie did, and it's the exact same method as that. So I won't show you the actual dehydrating and grinding them up process. I'm gonna show you though how I like to chop them up and freeze them, and also how I like to chop them up to make minced onion to put on a dehydrator. So let's go work on that process. Whew, those onions make your eyes water. Do you guys have any good tips on how to cut an onion without crying? That would be great. Now you can take the time and chop them uniformly into cubes, just like this. And then I love to put them in a bag with peppers, so then I have my peppers and onions all ready to go and in the freezer, just like that. You can also put this on a dehydrating tray, just like Jessie did the garlic, and let it go overnight. And then you can have your minced onion, or you can, from there, like he did with the garlic, you can use a grinder and make it a very fine onion powder, or you can even grind it in a food processor. It might not be as finely ground as a coffee grinder is. So those are some different options. But I'm not about to chop all of our onions perfectly. I'm actually gonna take a shortcut. So my easy way of doing it is I just take off both ends, cut it down the middle, just to help peel it. And then I like to just chunk it, just like that, real quick. Nothing fancy, perfect about it. And then I'm throwing it right here into my bowl of my food processor. I'm gonna stop with that many. It's about 3 onions. And I'm just gonna give it a couple pulses. That looks great. I don't want it to become like a paste or anything like that. Okay, so now with this, I'm gonna add about an onion's worth to one of these sandwich baggies that I have a bell pepper that I've already chopped up and froze. So now I have this awesome little baggie that I can just pull out of my freezer, throw it into any meal that I want to. It's already chopped. It's just so convenient. They actually sell stuff like this in their freezer section of your grocery store. And this is just a play on that. It saves you money. So that's just gonna go in my freezer. And to keep this from getting freezer burn, to last longer in your freezer, I like to stick these sandwich baggies, I put like between 4 to 6 of them inside one big gallon-sized Ziploc bag, just to keep that freezer burn off of them. The next thing we're gonna do is work with our dehydrator. Now we have a specific dehydrator separate for our garlic and our onion use. This is actually a pretty inexpensive one. I think I got it on a yard sale page for like $10 or $5, I can't remember, but it's not that expensive, brand new either. So I'm gonna take my onions that I just pulsed and we're gonna lay them out right here. And I'm gonna link Jesse's garlic powder video up above because he goes in step-by-step detail about doing garlic, and it's exactly the same with this onions. He pulses them as well, and he shows how to grind them up and do all that stuff. So I'm just gonna get this dehydrator filled with my onions and set this one going probably overnight. I'm not gonna do super thick layers because I want that airflow so that they can dry a lot faster. Each method has its advantages, like storing your onions just like this in a box is awesome because I can eat it fresh throughout the winter, put it on salads, on top of tacos. The downside can be when you hit that spring or the weather's starting to warm up, these onions are designed to start growing again, and so it'll start putting out green shoots, and when I see that, I'll start to use them faster or preserve them, but they're not gonna last this way forever. The nice thing about freezing them with the peppers, or if you don't want to do the peppers and onions, you can just freeze them all in a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. They will clump together, but you can just break off a hunk and throw it into whatever you're cooking. The nice advantage of that is it's already a step ahead. You don't have to stop and chop one of these fresh onions for soups, stews, sauteing with your eggs for breakfast, anything like that. So it's a step ahead. And it also preserves them through the winter, even a year. I mean, you use your judgment if things are starting to get freezer burned, anything like that, but it lasts a long time. But dehydrating, you're not cluttering your freezer. You're not having to store them and worry about them growing down or going bad. You know, sometimes they can rot in your storage. The great thing about dehydrating is they're shelf stable. They can last for an extremely long time. You use your judgment, but maybe like the older they get, or the less intense flavor they will have, but they last a very long time. It's just so versatile. I hope you guys will give this a try and let me know, what kind of method do you like? Do you like dehydrating? Do you like freezing? Or do you just try to store them as long as you possibly can and eat on them throughout the winter? So thanks for joining me today in my kitchen, and let me know down in the comments below, what kind of way are you going to be preserving your onions this year if you grew onions. I hope you guys are having an awesome day wherever you are, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye.